Me hit the record. Hi guys, my name is Michael James and thank you for joining me. I am going to be going over counting calories because that is uh, new for a lot of people and it shouldn't be difficult, but I just want to go through because this was something that was groundbreaking for me when I started this, and it has helped me lose a lot of weight and get into shape. Let me minimize this so you can get a better sense of what I am doing. And we are going to go here. So first off, I'm going to start off with why you should count calories. Before we go into the website, counting calories is, in my opinion, the best way to know what is going on in your body, and what you are eating in your body. Exactly. So a lot of people guess, and I know I have guessed thinking, hey, I'm eating healthy because I'm following what I thought was healthy. Like no one really explained that concept in too much detail. So, you just kind of wing it because especially at a certain age, you get out of the house, start cooking for yourself, start doing stuff, and you think you know what healthy is. And a lot of times we really don't. And I feel like that's something that we are missing in schools and help personal education, because your parents teach you what they know, and if no one ever counted calories and stuff, it's just something that you'll never really be aware of. So I use MyFitnessPal as an app to track what I eat, but I do not like their calorie calculator. For me, I'm a big fan of bodybuilding.com's website's calorie calculator. So if you just go on to Google, type in calorie calculator, first website will take you directly there. And then they'll go into their whole presentation on why reading article, why reading labels is important. But let's just skip to, first I'll put in my information so you can see what's going on. So, male, 6'1", weight, 195. And so what's your goal? For me, truthfully, right now I'm in a maintenance phase, and so I'll switch it off of fat loss, but I'll come back and I'll show you what fat loss was. And then I'll say moderately active. So yeah, I run, and right now I can't lift, so I am doing Insanity Asylum, so that's still an hour, but I like to try to go lower because it's easier. People will think that they do a lot more than they really do. And if you have a fitness tracker, it can help you get closer to the ballpark. But I like to say moderately active because it's intense exercise, but especially if you're sitting down a lot, might as well. And it'll give you a brief little description. So let's hit it. Let's calculate it. So for me, today, for maintenance, I should be eating about 2,442 calories. Doesn't have to be exact. And sometimes I'm slightly over, sometimes I'm slightly under, especially that happens. Being over 50 calories is not going to kill you. Being under 50 calories is not going to kill you. It's when you start adding a couple hundred, that's when you can go from a maintenance to fat loss or muscle gain. So that's why it's important to be aware. So let's go back. Modifying this for right before COVID-19 and everything being shelter in place, when I could go to the gym and I could really focus on certain muscles that I really want to work on and maintain that while losing and trying to lose weight, I was focused on fat loss. So recalculating that, for me, I was eating slightly above that at about 2,100 calories, just because I started seeing performance impacts in my exercise, and that's something to consider when trying to lose weight. Weight loss is phenomenal. especially when you can just see those pounds start coming off. But one of the reasons why I try to slow people back when they are talking about trying to quickly lose weight is because too fast means you can lose muscle. So again, the goal is to lose fat, not to also lose muscle for most people, but then also, especially if you're staying active, to avoid injury and to avoid losing your gains. Why try to work out hard all day at the gym, ladies, if you're working on that butt? You want to make sure to keep your butt. You don't want to, yeah. So I started noticing some performance dips, and that's why I always track my workouts. So when I'm at the gym, as soon as I just put up a set, work on the elliptical, or do anything, I'll go on my phone. I go to Fit Notes, and then I'll just sit there and I will log what I'm doing. And so I'll set a timer so I'm not just taking an infinite amount of breaks, but I'm sitting there logging what I'm doing. And when I started seeing that my strength was really decreasing uh, beyond what it can for a natural bodybuilder, that's when I had to bump up my calories. So again, these are guidelines and you have to play with them, but also don't be in such a rush to say like, oh well, my strength dropped yesterday, so I'm going to up my calories. You have to be consistent. You have to give it a couple months so that you can track and say like, yes, I am definitively losing strength. It's not because I'm tired. It's not because I was coming down with something. It's not just because I had a bad workout day or whatever. So again, 3 to 4 months of working out before you of sticking to a diet before you make changes. And the more strict you stick with it, the shorter time that can be. So instead of 4 months, maybe it is just 3 months because you adhered to this diet. So counting calories was a game changer for me to lose 40 pounds. And it can be that for you. A lot of diet plans that are very popular that you may have heard of, like keto, vegan, paleo, whatever, cutting things out of your diet impacts your calories. Reducing calories will help you lose weight. And so that's why it's not necessarily necessary for a lot of people to have to cut out an essential macronutrient or macro because you need protein, you need carbs, you need fat. It's bad news if you start severely restricting yourself for any of those things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mock up a person who may be wanting to get into this and doesn't know, like, okay, I want to count calories, but how do I do it? That's what we're here today for. So let us go to someone who's 43. We'll say female because guys, everyone's numbers are going to be different, especially when you start changing certain things. So that's why it's not great to compare yourself to someone else who's like, yeah, maybe you guys are both the same age, but the other person has 4 inches more on you and is a lot more athletic. Like, that's why you can't really compare the two. So we're going to say our person is a female. We're going to say she is 5'5". We'll be generous with that. And first, truthfully, uh, the weight, I'll be, regardless, it's going to be high, but that's the goal, is to show fat loss. And I want to, the fat loss or what calorie counting can do for you. So let's just say, because the sad thing is I do know people who this applies to, of they're 5'5" and they weigh just as much as me. But I'll say she's 180, all right, just to be nice. And we'll say, you know what, she does do some walking, cool, but she doesn't really put up the weights, or she really doesn't go all out. And that's a lot of people, but she also has an office job, and that's fine. So we're going to choose her activity level being lightly active. So let's calculate this out. So at 5'5", her calories need to be 1,458 calories a day. There you go. That's the magic number. And this is why I know when someone is 5'1", and saying, or I'm sorry, 5'5", and saying, hey, I eat 1,100 calories. I'm like, that automatically sounds wrong. Like it just does. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and let me play with this. Let's make it someone who's 5'1". So someone who's 5'1" has to eat less calories. So let's say, and go from 180, let's say she's 160. Let's see what just, oops. Let's see what just that does. So it does, so her being 160 and 5'1" does not too much. 180. All right. What about someone who is 5'9" and 180? 1,500 calories. So there's a big difference between, that's why you can't just arbitrarily pick what you want to do. So again, I know a lot of people who say, I'm eating 1,100 calories, and they're proud because they did the math for how much they are eating, but they're not really going off of anything backed with information as to how much they should be eating. They just arbitrarily picked a number. Again, you will have less issues if you choose to eat everything that's required. And by everything that's required, I mean what this is spitting out. So that's based on someone who's lightly active. Let's see what someone who, maybe she does get it in. Maybe she goes hard for an hour in the gym on the elliptical or the Stairmaster, and wow, she gets to eat 1,700 calories at 5'9" to lose weight. What does that do to our, because we're going to stick with 5'5", but we're going to go, I just want to show what the difference is. So that 5'1" girl who wants to lose weight, just at the same weight, who's moderately active, she's eating 1,600 calories. But let's go back to the original person, the girl who's 5'5". She's eating 1,700 calories, and this is at 43. So what does age play a factor? Let's see. Let's take this to 23. Everything else being constant. Wow, at 23, she's eating 100 calories less. That's important to know. But don't be afraid of that it is more calories than what you are eating or that what you are used to. Here's what's going to happen for most people. You are going to eat more. And guess what? More than what you were eating is going to cause the scale to go up for a week or maybe two. It happens. And that's usually where a lot of people freak out and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe, and whatever and stuff. But then your body adjusts. It says, hey, we're getting enough nutrition. This is terrific. You know what? We don't need to store it. Like, we're getting enough. All right. So then you start seeing the weight come off. And then guess what? You're going to see it spike up. And so I can show you on my MyFitnessPal that when I lost 30 pounds in a couple months, what that looked like. Because it's not actually, let me go through my Fitbit since I have that information stored there as well. And it's a little bit easier for me to show. So here is hard to see. Yeah, so you see all those spikes and valleys? That is, you can be doing everything right, and guess what? Your body is your body, and it's not always constant weight loss, especially since I was lifting weights, especially if my sodium intake was up, or if I wasn't getting enough sleep, and my water intake was up. Things can vary, but as long as it's consistently going down long term, that's all that matters. That's why you don't really need to rush. And some people are in such a hurry that they will ignore these basic things and then put themselves into such a detriment that you are no longer losing weight. To see what This top line is closer to 240, and here is 220. So from 235 to about 200 for in the first couple months. This was February 14th, I believe, when I first started, to about early July. I lost 35 pounds. Uh, so it is definitely possible. That's why just stick to the basics and keep finding the motivation to stick to the basics. Don't get wrapped up in, okay, but I'm almost there, and hey, you saw all the spikes on my graph. Your weight will go up and it will go down, but you have to trust in the process. You have to be a believer. Give yourself over to just following what you like. Hey, it worked. It worked for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 months. So why are you going to just freak out and switch up? And that sort of stress is another reason why you may retain weight. You have to trust in it. So back to 43, 55. Okay. And so, like I said, your weight may go up. You're eating more. That's what happens. But you have to trust that I'm taking a new path. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to eat this consistently. Do you know when you're supposed to readjust? Readjust at once you've lost 20 to 25 pounds. See if that impacts anything. Because, okay, coming back to this. So back to our case point, or same person. We'll say she's still moderately active. Or actually, we're going back to lightly active. So 5'5", at lightly active. This is going to be our case example for the rest of the today. She's 180. Her caloric daily goal is 1,458. Let's say she has been following this to a T. It's working fantastically. She has lost, we're going to say 25 pounds. So, I'm literally blanking out. All right, she has lost 25 pounds. What does that do? Does that do anything? Well, let's see. Oh my God. Yes, it does. Her caloric goal changes because you are a smaller person. You have less mass, so you should be eating less. And at that point, at about 20 to 25 pounds, please reassess your caloric goals. Do not just stick to the same thing that you were eating when you were very overweight. So let's say she was rather large. We'll say 300 pounds at 5'5". What was her caloric goal? 1,700 calories. And then at 250 pounds, and where was it? Was it 300? Hold on. So there is only a 4-pound difference at that point. She drops 50, only a 2-pound difference to 200. Okay, and at 200, at a certain point, that's when, so I guess not when you're morbidly obese, but at a certain point when you're starting getting close to your actual body's ideal weight. So back to 180. So that's important to know. So what I did was I pulled up, excuse me, I made on Excel, because I was like, I could input this into MyFitnessPal and come up with goals, but that doesn't really help because not everyone uses MyFitnessPal, and you may use Logit, you may use anything else, and I don't really care. You can write this down on paper as long as you know what you're supposed to be aiming for. It really doesn't matter. So 1,458. So her caloric goal for this person, 1,458. So what is that going to look like? We're getting to the portion of how do you plan out your day? Your meals should not be a surprise that you wait for till the next day, especially if you, in the beginning stages. The beginning stages is most critical for you to know what you're going to do. I've been there for MyFitnessPal trying to, hey, how much is a grape? How much is 3 grapes? Was that a large grape, medium grape, or all these types of things? That's why I also encourage weighing your food. So that way you can like, hey, no, that was specifically 47 grams. Now you know. So for this girl who is 5'5", and I just make sure to put that 5'5", oops, 5'5", female. So we have her goal. What does she want to have for breakfast? I know what I do. I do protein bar, protein shake, chicken. So first, already a lot of protein. Greek yogurt, and with mixing some fruit. But let's say she's not me, because she's not. And that's why it's important to go based off of things that you personally would like, because you can try to follow a diet that was geared towards what someone else's preferences were, but it won't work for you. So Beachbody has, in their little book for programs, they say like, oh yeah, hey, here are a couple meals they can try. And their meals look like a lot of meals that I've seen that they have eggs in it. And me personally, I don't eat eggs. Like I'll eat egg products or like a cake or whatever, but I won't eat eggs. So I don't really want that. That's important to consider because you have to eat it. If you can if you can force yourself to eat things you don't eat, congratulations, do you. I've tried to have cottage cheese. That is gross. I threw all that away. So let's see what banana. We're going to search and we're going to compile this woman's meals. Banana. So she's going to have 1 medium banana. So for me, I am using MyFitnessPal to look for information, but all these websites have it. I didn't want to create a new login because I have so many. So I'm just using MyFitnessPal to grab this information because it works. So 105 calories. And yeah, I made these little formulas and stuff. There is 1.3 grams of protein. And that's just important to understand. Grams, and I'll add, actually, nah, we already know. It's grams. So, is there any fat in a banana? According to MyFitnessPal, there is 0.4 grams of fat in a banana. Cool, it's not a big deal. Fat is good. Carbs are good. And there are 27 grams of carbs in a banana. Okay, so this is the thing. You can have that. That could just be your breakfast. That can be. For me, I'd be starving. That's not enough. But that could be your breakfast. But understand, you have to make up 1,353 calories later on in the day. Some people are going to want big lunches, big meals, big everything. Other people are not. So you can either plan out per meal and just stick with the breakfast, or say, you know what, I'm going to break this up. I'm going to have some foresight and say, you know what, let me look at, and I'm going to make my meals so I can for sure hit my caloric goals, and I can modify things, delete things, and everything else. And I'm inputting the macros, but we're not focused as much on the macros right now. Afterwards, we will adjust things because that's like you have to. So what I'm going to do for this, normally I actually just go per meal, but then it gives me a higher caloric goal to have to go back and tweak things. So for me, I'm going to try this out, doing something different. So for lunch, She just decided to have the banana. No snacks so far, but for lunch. Okay, well, she really wants to be healthy. She doesn't want to have red meat because it doesn't agree with her. So we'll say there, whatever she had chicken, chicken breast, because the different parts of the chicken are going to have different nutritional values. So let's see what boneless. Yeah, no, because for me, I always boneless chicken breast. So from Costco, boneless chicken breast is 100 calories for 4 ounces. Oh, let me put 4 ounces. So, especially, this is why you need to know weights, because I thought I was eating healthy, and when I finally started looking at this information, I realized, oh man, on the pork loin, I was overeating, and other things, like, I wasn't even close to an ounce of chicken breast. So, yeah, for I used to make my sandwiches. I would take 2 slices of turkey or chicken, lay it on there, put some cheese, put some mustard, and everything else. My sandwiches were very thin, and I would never go for the crazy sandwiches, but just very thin. And I thought that was healthy. My mistake. So, how much protein is in chicken breast? What they're saying is 24 grams. And how much fat? 1 gram. And then a big fat 0. So, hey, she's making progress. So, since we're doing this, we're also, like I said, we're just going to go through and start filling this out to be something reasonable. Because if we can make this easy for you to see how to do this, you can start projecting out your days, and then it becomes easier to swap things out. Because, hey, maybe this is her meal for tomorrow, but then the next day it's going to be very similar, but she decided she didn't want to have chicken, she wanted to have tri-tip, she wanted to have something else. It's easy to swap that out, and it's going to make a minor change, but as long as you get the basic premise. So for dinner, she said, you know what, I love chicken, but I already have that. And for some people, they can have the same meal every meal and be fine. And other people are like, I cannot have the same meal again for 3 meals minimum. So, okay, let's say she wants to keep it healthy. Control B, salmon. That is larger, but whatever. So, she wanted to have salmon. Now, there's different kinds of salmon. That's important to consider. I have had 3 kinds of salmon that I've logged. So there's sockeye salmon, Atlantic salmon, especially if it's wild or farm raised, can have differences, or Keta salmon. So you know what? Maybe she's new to this, so she's not going to run into Keta salmon. She doesn't want to buy sockeye salmon because that's always more expensive. So she just went with Atlantic salmon. Oops. So first take this back to 11. And she is going to stick with what we're talking about. She's going to eat 4 ounces. And maybe you have to weigh it out and portion it out so you're not, trust me, at the end of a long day, you don't want to have to, for me at least, I don't want to have to do random amounts of work. So we're going to say that's 150 calories. What did that do? Oh, that just these minor things have taken us to 355 calories. We still have a lot of ground to make up. So for protein, that is 22 grams. For fat, that is 7 grams. For carbs, that is 0 carbs. Guess what? We still want to just make sure, but yeah, meats don't really have carbs. Okay, so we've started there, and we still have a lot of calories to make up for. Because unless she was just doing almost a carnivore diet, this doesn't work out. So we're going to say she had Greek yogurt for breakfast because she likes Greek yogurt. All right, now there's different kinds of Greek yogurt. Did she do plain Greek, which for me, that's my preferred because it keeps sugars low. But she didn't do that because you know what? She wants the flavor, she understands. That's fine. So we're going to say Greek yogurt. What is this? Okay, so we have a wide variety of Greek yogurts. All right, how about this? We're going to use this Dannon Light and Fit Greek yogurt blueberry. It has one serving, which is 1 cup. At blueberry. 1 cup is 80 calories, 13 grams of protein. How much fat? 0 fat. And 9 grams of carbohydrates. So that's already making a small dent in everything that she has to have for the day. So she still has 1,000 calories, but trust me, we're going to get there. So, okay, for chicken breast for lunch, she paired that with green beans because why not? So let's go back to the lunch. So I'm going to look this up. Ooh, she went fancy. She did French green beans or French style. I don't really know what the difference is, but cool. We're just going to put that there. So that's only 25 calories. So if you're doing just basic vegetables, like those aren't really calorically dense. So how about for protein? Hey, there's 2 grams. And then for 0 fat. And then for carbs, 4. All right. And again, this girl does not want to have anything close to the same thing that she had ever again in the same meal. That's like some people, like I said, I've done that where I've had carbon copies and then other times I was like, I need something different. So, and we'll get into how to structure your meals that way too. So for Atlantic salmon, what would pair well? Asparagus. All right, but how much? So let's see. 5 stalks is a serving of medium size. Oh, and this was 1/2 cup. So that's 1/2 cup of this asparagus. 5 stalks is 41 calories. 3.3 grams of protein. 2. Oops, that's not 2. 2.7 grams of fat and 3.6 grams of carbs. Okay, so right now her fat is higher. Let me verify what is going on. Yeah, something's going on in a fat category. Let me look at the P. All right. P31. That's why. Why is this? N31 to O31. That's why. Okay. That's why it's important to know. Nope. Actually, I don't want to do that. It's important to know. So, 1. There we go. Sorry. Sorry for the delay, guys. Her numbers looked very off, and that's why. So, because I made this myself. Alright, so what do we want to do? She also had sweet potato because she heard how useful and how healthy that is. So let's see what a sweet potato is. Sweet potato. So there's a lot of different sweet potatoes on here. I'm doing the first one, which said sweet potato, 1 serving, medium, about 5 inches long. Cool. That's not really a great indicator, but especially for this, it's not the biggest, it's not going to be the biggest deal. So, there we are, 2 grams of protein, 0.1 grams of fat, and 26.2 grams of carbs. So, still have lots of room to add to what she's doing, but that's why it's important to know what she's eating. Alright, so after this, she can't not eat. So we're going to include snacks during the day, because again, a lot of us get peckish, and it's important to know, hey, how does this work? So let's say she went with almonds, honey roasted almonds. And that was 160 with 5 grams of protein, 13 grams of fat, and 10 grams of carbs. All right, she's getting closer to, oh, and this is 1 ounces of almonds. 1 ounce. So it's just important to know this because that's a serving size, 1 ounce. This is also saying maybe about 28 pieces, but again, you should know what 1 ounce is. You should need to know what these sizes are so you're not just guessing. Because if you had, I had almonds, I had a handful. Well, my hands are bigger than your hands. So if you had a small handful, maybe you had 13 almonds. Maybe I had 28 almonds exactly. Maybe I had 40 almonds. I don't know. All right. So she went back and she was like, oh, that's still not too much. I love for grains. I love protein-rich grains, but I did a lot of research. I looked into red bulgur, freekeh, quinoa. Just there's a lot of grains out there. Sorghum, a lot of things that millet. You can do research. Like what are, if you Google, and I actually will Google, because this is what I did. So, healthy grains. So, choosing a whole grain. I don't really like that. So, 14 options. Whole oats, whole wheat, whole grain rye, buckwheat, bulgur wheat, cracked wheat. All right, that's not red bulgur, but it is a version. Hey, there's millet. There's whole barley. So especially if you're a big beer drinker, you can incorporate that into a grain like, hey, that may pair well with your beer. I don't know. Spelt, quinoa, brown rice, corn, popcorn, whole grain breads. These are all things to just be able to look up. Freekeh. And how do you cook this? So freekeh is a grain. For me, almost all the grains I've looked into, pretty much you still cook. It's very pop-ups. You still pretty much cook like rice, and so some of them have regional, traditional regional ways. So if something was Mediterranean, maybe they cook it with special way, or they toss their couscous with olive oil. There's different things to do. So that's why it's important to do your research beforehand. Unlike this. But yeah, I just want to show you what that can look like. But so for lunch, she didn't do any of that. So, oops. Brown rice. Because like I said, she wanted to be healthy. So let's see what brown rice we can find on MyFitnessPal. Lunch. Brown rice. Okay. So I found Walmart's brown rice, a cup. So does that mean a cup of uncooked or a cup of cooked? So for a lot of this stuff, I will always measure it uncooked. For cooked stuff, for meats, I will go uncooked. For rice and grains, especially, I will do that after cooking, because for me that's just easier. Also, some of them will give me the option to look at by weight, and I feel that's the best option, but we are going to go 1 cup cooked. So that's 150 grams, I'm sorry, calories, with 4 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat, and 33 grams of carbs. All right. And, because she still has room for breakfast, and you can keep updating this. What do I want to have? What is something that people will want for breakfast? Oh, how about this? She went healthy, but, not crazy healthy. So she's bacon. You can have bacon. Doesn't even have to be turkey bacon. Choose the bacon wisely, just because bacon is a processed meat. So especially if you're used to like 3-4 strips, that can be more than 1 serving, a lot more than 1 serving. So for me, I'm a big fan of Boar's Head bacon. They're nitrate free because they have 2 apparently, at least 2, but My Sprouts has 2. So they have the original one and then the nitrate free. So I'm going to do that because this was her randomly choosing to add something or grab something because she likes Boar's Head. But we're going to do 2 slices. So per slice is 25 calories. Hey, that's not that bad. So that's 50 calories and 4 grams of protein and 3.6 grams of fat and no carbs. See, so you can still have that. And she still has room for more calories. So, hey, for some of you out there, you're going to be saying, that girl's eating similar to what I'm eating. Maybe not the bacon or maybe not the sweet potato, but yep, that's good. That's where I eat for the day. But again, you want your weight loss to be easy. You don't want your body fighting you, especially if you have 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds that you can lose before, not even to be thin, but just extra. Like, your body shouldn't be fighting you. And this is where a lot of people stop. They can, on average, cobble this together themselves without having to do any numbers. And there you go. So she wanted to have ice cream as a snack, dessert. So let's look up and find an ice cream. Ooh. Hmm. There are... Now, for me, I hate coffee. But here's Coffee Breyer's ice cream. Breyer's ice cream. And this one's weighted by 66 grams. So, what's a great way to measure 66 grams? Oops, ice cream. It's not to just sit there and try to put some out, because put the ice cream on the scale, zero it out, and then just let it do negative numbers. So that's also why I don't like analog scales. Are great, especially those don't need batteries and those work in a pinch at any time. But a digital scale is nice. You can just put the weight on, take some out. That's how for a lot of trickier stuff, it's easier to add things up. So she had 66 grams, which is 130 calories. And you may realize 66 grams is smaller than what you normally get the bowl for and whatever. But this is how you know you can hit your goals, is by weighing this out. So 7 grams of fat and 15 carbs. So with that bowl of ice cream, she's close. This can really just be someone's who's 5'5" and 180 pounds. This could be someone's diet without even thinking about it. And guess what? She is not having, or actually, because she loves coffee, I'm going to give her coffee in the morning. So let's see what that looks like. So she is hardcore and she likes black coffee. So guess what? Black coffee, 2 calories, 0.3 grams of protein, 0 fat, 0 that. Hey, guess what? That didn't really do anything for her numbers. But let's say she wanted coffee and she wanted a muffin. And muffins are a source of carbs, but hey, she's not really caring, because she's been following her meals all day. So, there are so many muffins. Actually, no, I won't change this. So I want to find a muffin, because on MyFitnessPal you can enter in your own muffins, or sometimes there's brands. And for me, I don't really know muffins. But here's an English muffin, cinnamon raisin muffin. So the serving size is just 1. So here's 140, 4, 1, 29. All right, cool. So again, some people are going to say, man, that is more than I eat. Yes, that's probably the case. And especially if you were 5'5" and a female, you may be saying, hey, wow, she's not even at her goal. What 200 calories, let's let that go. No, you need to stick to the plan. So this is why breaking things up, either finding snacks or finding things you can incorporate, work fantastic. Bacon, and let's say she wasn't eating that banana alone. She had Greek yogurt on the drive in, but she also had oatmeal. So here is Quaker's Old Fashioned Oats Dry. And this shows it at 40 grams for a serving for 150 calories, 100 grams of protein, 3 grams of fat, and 27 grams of carbs. Oh my God, we are so close. Can you keep going? Sure. Can you stop? That's fine too. If you have that, there's nothing wrong if you were short a little bit. There's nothing wrong if you were over. I've been 100 calories over, step on the scale, boom, still weight loss because these are just averages. And yeah. So this could be your full meal if you're this girl. Or, you know what? Maybe she has a sweet tooth. Heck, a lot of us do. And if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. So, one of my things, so this girl asked me for a snack, and I gave her a serving of gummy bears. Oops. So, Haribo gummy bears. So this girl has already been able to have coffee, a muffin, and this is still Haribo. Oh, that's why I'm on breakfast. So, trust me, weight loss, you'll be surprised. You still get to keep eating more than you thought. So, Haribo gummy bears. One serving is 13 pieces. So, even the small bags, or the smallest bags are like this, and there's like 5 gummy bears. Every other size, it's way more than one actual serving. So, it's important to read the labels. 13 pieces. And guess what? That's 100 calories. 2 grams of protein, 0 fat, 23. And then guess what? Ta-da! After all that hard work, she has had more snacks than a lot of people. She didn't starve for breakfast. She didn't starve for lunch. She didn't starve for dinner. She had the coffee. She had ice cream. So she had dessert. She had a snack. Guess what? She's still at her caloric goal. And to get started, and for progress, when I started my weight loss goal, I have a huge sweet tooth, so I needed that. I needed something. So I always had Haribo gummy bears, and those worked perfectly, and I still lost weight. So if you count your calories, if you know where you're at tracking, why can't you have ice cream? Why can't you have Haribo gummy bears in a day? This isn't how a bodybuilder would contest prep, because maybe they would be a little bit more strict and say, hey, well, how much sugar and what's specifically in this Greek light and fit blueberry Greek yogurt. But this is just for an average person, and this will still get you weight loss. So please, this is why you want to count calories. Let me minimize this myself even more. Counting calories works. Every diet that you have heard of that is popular, that you've seen people just show off, hey, look at my abs, look at my body, look at the transformation, was either, hey, they worked out hard and fitness is fantastic. You don't want to lose a lot of weight and then not look that good. Fitness can give you the muscles, the definition, the things that really make you look nice. Ladies, lift weights. More than just doing legs. Lifting weights will give you a nice butt, nice legs. It'll keep your arms Like, hey, there's no jiggle. There's no jiggle. So instead of your body choosing to store fat in every place you don't want it to store, train your body. Then it'll be like, oh, she's using that area. That's not ideal because your body, especially if you're over a little bit overweight or very overweight, it starts storing fat everywhere. So that's not necessarily the thing you want. So please, if you learned anything from this, this can be extrapolated. You can do this for anybody. I want to sit here and do this mock daily diet so that way you can see what it actually takes, because a lot of people will not know how much calories they should be eating, or they'll tell me a number that they're eating and just like, hey, you're 5'7" and you're eating 1,100 calories. I know that's wrong, like straight up. Even if you had a low active job, cool, that's not what that's going to add up to. And if you're very active, if you get in the gym, it's okay that you're going to have to eat more calories. It's fuel. You want to enjoy it, but you also want to make sure that like you get to your goal. So, don't see any questions, and this is the time to ask. But I just want to go over this because hopefully I can help anyone out there who is interested in weight loss. And guess what? The bodybuilding.com's website, maybe you don't want to lose weight. Maybe have been going hard in the gym, you got to a great place, and now you're eating your face off because you are on lockdown, shelter in place, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. So you don't really want to gain weight. Well, you go back to bodybuilding's website, you sit there, you put in your caloric numbers. They give you an option to put yourself in for maintenance, and there's nothing wrong with eating at maintenance. I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to gain weight. I just want to stay the same. Maybe you want to gain muscle. Look at this. Look, ooh, even veins popping through. I start getting veins all through here. Yeah, especially when I'm working out hard. Maybe that's your goal. It doesn't really matter. The fundamental basis for losing weight, gaining weight, or maintaining weight is exactly the same. What's your caloric intake? Is it what it truly should be? And then what are you doing to hit that? So, hey, a day that you randomly go over, it's not that big of a deal. But it's the day that you keep cheating, keep getting that caramel macchiato, whatever concoction from Starbucks that puts you over substantially. Not just your goal is to hit your daily goal and then weekly goal. So you want to be for weight loss, you want to be in a caloric deficit, not just daily, but you want to average it weekly. And so you can undo your week's worth of hard work by on Saturday or on Sunday eating half a pizza by yourself, drinking your face off, doing all these things. So that's just one of the things you have to consider, because why undo all that hard work that you have put in for progress in one day? And it's very possible. So yeah, hopefully, since there are no chat questions, hopefully this has been informative, this has been helpful. Please reach out. Feel free to hit me up on Instagram or at Foodie and Fit MJ, or Twitter, Foodie and Fit, or just DM me through Twitch, and I'll be happy to answer any more questions. All right. So my name is Michael James, and this has been Foodie and Fit.